So today we're going to talk about agile estimation. Agile estimation, we do relative estimation instead of time date estimation. What we try to do is estimate the amount of effort involved to complete a story or feature. We can do this by comparing it to work we've already completed. People are generally good at relative estimation. You've heard, is it bigger than a bread box? Is it the size of my fist? Is it the size of a grapefruit or the size of an orange? Horsepower itself is a form of relative estimation. So we've been doing relative estimation for a long time as human beings, and it works pretty well generally. So what we like to do is have the development team look at things that they've already done as a way to estimate new features and new stories. Once we understand that we can trust these relative comparisons, it becomes much easier to size our work. So for example, if we're estimating on a project that is ongoing, or a team is persistent and dedicated, they might say, so we have the story, story A. Is it bigger or smaller than user story B, which is already finished? And the team might say it's bigger, and we'll say, well, okay, how much? Is it 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger? And we might get an answer that it's 3 times bigger. We'll say, okay, here's story C that we already did. We estimated it as 3 times bigger than story B. Story A and story C relatively the same size. And people might say, yeah, they're relatively the same. We think they're about the same. And then we know we're done. We're done estimating story A, right? Another way to do it in a common way is to use story points. Story points are a arbitrary unit representing the size or effort of a story. Story points usually follow the Fibonacci sequence, which is 0, half, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100. As you notice, there is sort of a sequence. 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, 13 plus 8 is not 20, it's 21. We go to 20 because we think that a story or function that is that big is too big to be estimated with any accuracy. So now we're into more of a general estimation, and you should come back and break that story down before, as it comes close time to work on it, so that you can re-estimate and get a better, more accurate estimate of that feature. There are other methods that people use to estimate in Agile. Some people use t-shirt sizes. So extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, double XL. Some people use coffee cup sizes. Small, tall, grande, venti, whatever the Starbucks language is. Some people use dog breeds. There are all different kinds of methods, and the point here is that we are not date estimating. We are figuring out the amount of effort it is to complete a story, and then if we know that we can complete a certain amount of effort every 2 weeks, we can build a schedule. A lot of people that use the estimate in Agile, they play a game called planning poker. A lot of people think you can only play it with the story points, but you can play it with t-shirt sizes and cup sizes and dog breeds. It works equally well. It's a way for the team to estimate collaboratively. It's an effective way to facilitate discussions and information on stories, because the team has to come together and work collaboratively. Good things about playing poker. You get multiple opinions, so you don't just go to the smartest SME or the architect and get an estimate. Everyone involved in the project who's going to actually do work gets the estimate. As I said, the people doing the work are the ones providing the estimates. Estimators must justify their estimates if they're way outside of the norm of the rest of the team. That facilitates discussion, uncovers things that other people might not have thought of. Averaging individual estimates leads to better, more accurate estimates. Again, you don't want to go to the most senior person to get an estimate, right? You want to go to even the junior level person, the mid-level people, get their estimates, how long they think it's going to take to do some work, or how much effort do they think it's going to take to do some work. And then putting all that together, you can come up with an accurate estimate. It avoids anchoring, so since everyone has to display their size at the same time, you don't get the most charismatic person on the team driving everyone else to an estimate that they really don't believe in. So here are the rules. Here's how you play. Customer explains the user story. The team briefly discusses the work involved. Everybody estimates individually. Everybody reveals estimates simultaneously. Very important. Again, avoiding that anchoring, avoiding the most charismatic person driving to estimates that people don't believe in. Lowest and the highest estimators justify. Uncovering things that other people don't think of, possibly, or uncovering hopefully good things that I've done this work before. I know what it takes, so it's not that difficult. Right? The team decides collectively on the estimate, and you should time box the effort of planning poker per user story. I like to use 3 minutes per user story. That generally works well. Planning poker is not, has some challenges. It's not a silver bullet. It's not always that easy. Some of the challenges are peer pressure, right? Since I'm not going to one person and asking for their estimate, everyone is in this public forum. Everyone has to join in, and that can be difficult for some people. Especially a junior developer who might be always the highest estimator. He might feel some pressure from the group, or he might feel pressure that they're going to think I don't know what I'm doing, that type of thing. Changing team members can be a challenge, obviously, because we said the people doing the work are the ones estimating. But if the team is in flux and not stable, then the people doing the work were not the ones who did the estimates. That can be a challenge. Obviously, poorly defined requirements or user stories are a problem. Then we're estimating on things we really don't know. I do not go into estimations without acceptance criteria attached to the story, so that we know how we're going to test it, how much effort that's going to be, because we are also estimating the testing effort in this exercise. There's organizational politics. Management does not know what story points are. They don't understand velocity. All they want to know is, when are you going to be done? How much is it going to cost? So maybe there needs to be some training or some translation there for upper management. Or if you're dealing with your vendor and you're dealing with providing software at the end of your process, maybe the organization that you're providing the software for, they don't understand when you start talking about story points and velocity. So there's some communication and some politics that have to go on there. Role confusion. Get this a lot from teams. Testers, I don't understand what it takes to develop work. I'm a tester. Why am I in this estimation process? Or, UI people, you're asking them to estimate on database work or the business level work, and they, you know, there can be some confusion there. All I do is the UI. I don't know what this database stuff is. Why am I estimating this? And the reason why you want them to estimate it is, you know, as a team, you want to start to break down those silos. You want to start to have a collaborative team. So even though my expertise is in UI, you know, I might help out a DB person with something. I might, you know, put together a view of a table for them or whatever. So you need to start to have everyone contribute to estimates and to the work. You know, there's some questions. Well, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to stop using time and dates and start using size, right? So there's a couple things. There are feature unknowns, right? There are always unknowns and features, things crop up that you didn't think of. If that happens with a time-based estimate, the schedule's off, right? You have to go back through your whole schedule and figure out how that affects every single feature going down the line. Relative size, you still have velocity, right? Our velocity might be lower than we want, or might have come down from where we were, but we still have velocity. We can still calculate our end date fairly easily, right? There are external dependencies, right? So if I need a support team to provide me something that feeds a feature, I need to know exactly when they're going to be done, right? Because I need a specific date so that I can calculate my date, right? If you use relative size, dependency issues can be mitigated, right? I'm not giving you a specific date. I'm telling you how much work I have to do, and whenever I get that input, I know that I can fit this work into a sprint, right? There are resource unknowns, right? You have to anticipate the unanticipatable. Personal sickness, family sickness, production support issues, department moves. All those things can affect your date, right? In relative size, we still have velocity, right? Our velocity may suffer, but we can still easily calculate our schedule once we know how our velocity is affected. It's just simple math to figure out the end date. Swappability is affected. You cannot swap features in and out. If I said that a feature would be done on March 3rd, I'm caught, right? I'm stuck. I have to get that feature done March 3rd. Relative size, I can swap feature for feature, right? So I can say, you know, if this feature was estimated at a 5 and something happens with it, like a dependency, I can take another feature that's a 5 and swap it right in. My velocity isn't affected. The end date's not affected. Once I get that dependency, I'll do that 5 feature that I swapped out at a later time. We're still on schedule. And then the other issue is time, right? In order to create a accurate time-based schedule for features, you need to break down all the features into small enough tasks to estimate them accurately. And that is time prohibitive, right? And it also still assumes that nothing will change over the life of the project. And we know that we're going to have change. We know that there are going to be unknowns. We know that dependencies might fall. So you're spending a lot of time up front because in order to estimate accurately, you have to break down every feature really small. And then the unknowns come and get us, right? With relative size, planning poker is quick. Takes approximately 3 minutes for feature. I only need to break down features that are in sprints that are right on my doorstep. And other features that are further down the line can remain big. They can remain 20s and 40s. And we'll break them down as they come closer to being worked on. And it's still fairly accurate because relatively sizing is a fairly accurate exercise. Thank you for attending Agile Estimation, and we'll see you at the next session.